Ladies and gentlemen, this is Beyonder and welcome back to another farming video. As you can see, the cornfield is looking quite empty, and that's because it's harvest time. We're bringing it all in. The whole year led up to this. Let's get rolling. So this is part one of a two-part video on this fall, and this first part here is going to be kind of how it works. I'm going to be explaining technical stuff, how everything works. This one's going to be much more of reminiscent of the first video this spring, me wandering around explaining stuff. Now later, in the second video, is going to be a day in the life, and that's going to be a lot more of the fun GoPro shots, that type of thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and let's get straight into it. However, before we get into the advanced shit, we gotta talk about the simple stuff. So basically, for the basic process here, the combine takes in the corn, goes through the feeder house, shit happens back there, we don't talk about that. And then it goes into the grain tank here. That grain tank holds 420 bushels. A bushel is 56 pounds if it's corn. So this is a good thing to know for scale. However, eventually that grain tank gets full, we gotta dump on the grain cart. Now eventually, the grain cart gets full too. So then, we gotta head back to the other end of the field, and then move up a little. Then we unload on the semi. So all that corn went to the combine, to the back of there, and now it's going in the semi. And now we're running dry. So let's just close up the gate, turn her off. And now we're heading out again, on our way. So the truck's gonna go dump, and meanwhile, the grain cart here, we're gonna go back and catch the combine, which is probably almost full. And you know, the whole point of this, of having the middleman, the grain cart, is so nothing ever has to stop. The trucks are always going back and forth, back and forth. What the hell happened there? The trucks are always going back and forth, and the combine's always moving. So we're always getting grain out of the field. And that increases our productivity like a shit ton actually. I believe I saw somewhere someone calculated a grain cart is like the equivalent of half a combine. So if you have one combine and then go from just a truck or just wagons to a grain cart, it's equivalent of if you had another half a combine. So yeah, gotta keep everything moving. Look at that, we caught them just in time. And then once the grain cart fills up the semis, they come around the corner there and over this here pit. And right, they use the little dump thing on the bottom, they dump it down into the pit. Into this auger. The tractor here, 6130M, runs the auger. So it augers it up into that bin there, and that is our hopper bin or wet bin, depending on who you ask. I don't know. Even on the farm we call it different things. But wet bin. You're probably thinking beyond it, why the hell would the bin be wet? And that's an excellent question. Well, see, when the corn comes out of the field, it has a certain level of moisture on a percent scale. So think 100% would be kind of like sweet corn or something, where you can just like, the kernels like pop, you know? And 0% would be all shriveled. Honestly, I don't know what that would look like. There'd be no water in it whatsoever. Anyway, that holds our wet corn when it comes in. When it comes out of the field, it usually has, depending on, towards the beginning of harvest, around like 25 or so percent moisture, and towards the end, like 19 to 20. But the ideal storage condition for corn is 15% moisture. So we gotta dry it. And that's where that comes in. The dryer uses propane from over there to have big burners, and it takes in air and heats up the air and pushes it through the corn. Now, to put it simply, here, I can just get up here and show you. It's incredibly dirty because it's a dryer. It's been in use for a while. But as you can see, it's hollow in here, so the air comes through here, and then these walls are hollow, and the corn fills up the walls there. I can close the door. The corn fills up the walls there. So those walls are full, and the air escapes through there, heating up the corn and drying it out to our ideal moisture. Then comes out of there into that thing. There's a lot of like rotten shit in there now because the dryer is done here for the year. Actually, I waited till the absolute last minute to record this, but it does have the benefit of you can actually hear because there's not like 80 things running in the yard, so that's handy. Back to why we have the wet bin. The corn comes in, the dryer isn't super fast, can't keep up with the combine and stuff quite, so we have that holding bin. When that's full, the day is done. We then just wait till the next day. The dryer will drain that overnight. Once the corn comes out of the dryer, it makes its way up that auger there and into this bin. This bin, I think, holds 30,000 bushels, and it all fills up in there. However, we got a lot of bins. So how do we get into those bins? Well, people, let me show you the air system. And this is the part that I like, you would legitimately would not be able to hear me if this was on. So good for me for waiting till after. So, this gets augered out into that thing. And this motor here, all that shit, sucks in a shit ton of air. And the corn is dropped in there, and that dropped into this tube here, this wind tube. And the air is like pressurized and shot through there so fast that it just blows the corn through with it. So you don't have any like moving parts throughout the system like an auger. All of it's down there. Unless you like blow a tube or something, you don't have to mess with anything up there. So we select which bin it's going to with this here changer. See, we can do that. Pretty simple. So we select which bin it goes into with that changer. And right now it's selected to run into this bin. Now once the bin's full, you know, we stop the air system for a while and then we move it to the next and the next and the next, you know. Once it's in this bin, it will stay here until such time as we decide to move it elsewhere for whatever reason or sell it. Usually sell it, unless something goes goofy. So these can hold corn all the way until next year. And theoretically they could hold it beyond that, but you know, we like to clear everything out before the new year, you know, get only a new crop in. We also have this blower here amongst the shit hole. This blower intakes air, pushes it through the bottom of the bin, which actually has little vented slats in it to circulate air through, help keep everything fresh. You can actually dry or moisten the corn to a degree through that. If it's humid out and you turn that on, you can put a little moisture back in the corn if you dried it a little too much or something. You know, you can just kind of control everything that way. But basically, the main purpose is to circulate air through, keep everything fresh. Hi, cat. How you doing? This is Mr. Meow. He's our most valuable employee. But yeah, that is the basic cycle of the corn. Well, the field part was basic. I went fairly in depth for the bin site tour because I don't want to have to come back here again. Alright, so after that quick and dirty explanation, now we can get into the deep shit on how all this stuff works. So let's just hop out and we'll start with the actual physical machinery. So we're going to start with the physical machinery here. We're just going to follow the corn's journey through the combine. Back up so you can see it. Alright, so we started at the corn head here. Take this guy. We need him with. We're gonna a little wet. That was embarrassing. Anyway, starting at the corn head. Right down in there, we have these little rotatificator things. See if we can get a better angle on them. Oh, let's see. Basically, down here, these spin really damn fast. So when the corn plant here goes in, that grabs it, and just goes, ah! And it gets yoinked down there. However, we have the deck plates. Now what happens is the rest of the plant can fit through there. As you can see, corn cannot. Shit. So, anyway, it gets in there, and then these gathering chains here, they move it up into there. The auger then, augers them in to the feeder house over there, as augers do. So once it's in the feeder house, it's actually in the inside of the combine. So everything's gonna start moving through. And what we can do after that. Alright, so under these black shields here is the rotor. Now what the rotor does, close that, so it's not so loud, but the rotor spins around and essentially just beats the shit out of the corn. Knocks all the grain off the cob, just beats it up. And it has the concaves, which have little grates the grain can fit through, but the rest of the shit can't. However, it's not perfect, obviously. There's a lot of other shit that comes through, a lot of smaller pieces of shit. So, we turn that on. As we saw, we have the sieves in there. And what those do, it's kind of like panning for gold or something. Basically, they shake around, and the grates in there, the corn can fit through, and get shook through them, while the rest of the material keeps moving towards the back, eventually ends up in the chopper here, where those little blades spin around, cut up all the residue, and yeet it out the back. Meanwhile, all the grain that's gone through the cleaning system there, we call it, makes its way up into the grain tank, which is full. So yeah, that all ends up right up there. And then, when we're full, and when there isn't a grain cart for us to dump on, we activate the auger, and all of that grain gets augered out into the grain cart. As you kind of saw earlier, but whatever. Alright, so time for a little more in-depth grain cart talk. Get that all set up. Oh, shut up, seat. Alright, so we have this, and that can move the spout there, just so we get the corn coming out in the right spot. And hang on, I gotta move again. The second one open and closes that gate, and the gate controls how much grain we're allowing in to the auger. So that's how fast it's coming out, essentially. Right there, now we can sit for a while. And that third one is just like folding and unfolding the auger. We have the throttle here. You're kind of familiar with that. I explained it in my spring video. But yeah, basically for the process, we'll pull up right alongside the truck. We use the spout thing to tweak it, and we open up the gate and let her rip. We also have the scale to keep track of how much we're putting on, and to see how much we have left in there. There's windows that they're kind of hard to see sometimes. We kind of to slowly move, we just kind of mash the clutch, pretty much. Yeah, and there it goes. Let off the clutch. Yeah, and when it piles up, we move. Pretty simple. Alright, and then when we're all done, it's empty, we just turn that off, and that turns to PTO, which is the thing that's rotating back there. That transfers the rotational energy to the auger. Once we got that, we're ready to roll. Just put her forward and get out of here. Also, yeah, I know the oil change too. We got like 2 days left of harvest as of me recording this, so we're just gonna wait. Okay, now that you guys know how the actual machinery works, we're gonna talk about how I use that machinery by explaining the cab. And as you can see, there's a bit of a load of freaking information here. So we're gonna do our best to get through that. So to start with, I'm only gonna go over the stuff that we actually use.
I'll head to your water when you get up.
Okay, anyway, had to do a bit of finagling. Now we're gonna actually explain what's going on. So we're gonna start with like the monitor up here. So that counters A right there. That is our yield, bushels per acre. For reference, a bushel of corn is 56 pounds. So that's doing pretty good. We got our average yield. This field's, you know, we've had better, but you know, it's nothing to complain about. Up here in the video, we can see some video of inside the machine, and that just helps us kind of monitor the condition of the grain. So there's not a window for that back here, but whatever. That tells us our location, like what client who we're going for, like if we were doing custom for someone, what farm we're on and what field we're on. Here we have crop type, the variety of the crop, so that's like the hybrid, you know, hybrid corn's a thing. Got another yield counter, I don't know why the hell that's there. 69, oh damn it. Anyway, got fuel consumption here, gallons per hour of diesel. She's a hungry thing. We got how full we are, 72% full. Got the windows full filling up there. Then over here we got some stuff going on. So that number there, 550, that is our header rotation speed. So that's how fast the header's moving. And we want to match that for a number of reasons. I'll explain it in probably today in a live video. I'll explain how I calculate losses and stuff. Although we'll just see what editing beyonder says. Then we have, that's our separator speed, or the rotor that I talked about earlier. 1 second. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted by doing my job, I was talking about, here, that is our rotor speed. So it's how fast that's beating. We want to monitor that. It goes too fast, we'll start cracking things. This doesn't do as good of a job. That is our concave distance at 35 millimeters right now. We have it set at. And that's like the distance, how far closed the concaves are around the rotor. And we have the cleaning fan, which I don't think I remember to talk about that. But basically, it's a big fan under the sieves that just blows all, that helps blow all the extra debris out the back. 16 millimeters, that is our top sieve. So basically how much we're letting through. You know, closed means less is going to get through. You're going to keep more material out of the tank. It's not corn, but you're also going to let more corn end up going out the back inevitably. Same thing with the bottom sieve, except the bottom sieve is underneath the top sieve, so everything from the top sieve ends up down there eventually. Down here we have a location again. That is our guidance map. The inches there, that's how fast, how far we are off our row in inches, like not 0. So the GPS is getting us within an inch of where we want to be. We can also see dark pink is where I've been, light pink is where I've not been. Got some things, we can like kind of tweak where our line is just in case. That's our average acres per hour, 12 acres to the hour. It's pretty solid. We got, yeah, harvest settings again displayed down there, another counter, all that. So yeah, that's the monitors. Let's explain the buttons and shit. These buttons are all functions on the monitor, but you get just like a hotkey kind of. I got my little phone pocket thing. This switch here controls turning on like the separator on the inside of the combine, and that one controls the header. Here we have our RPMs. So turtle slow, we're full bunny, full rabbit, top speed RPM. We got 2200, I believe. We got our gears. I mean, it's a hydrostat, so gears don't really work the same as they do on other stuff. But we got first gear, we're in second, and we go into third for road transport. That is how we lock things up for road mode, for transporting. Here's some things I can turn on my flashers, some lights. We can turn on some flashers, some lights. We can control the temperature, the fans, music. I can actually skip from my playlist. This knob here controls how far the head is off the ground. Like if we want it to ride real close because the corn's down or something, we can kind of crank it. Up here we have the steering column. As a steering wheel, I don't know what else to say about that. We got, you know, we got our blinker, our controller, some more of our lights. You got the honker there. Here we have our CB. One thing, we did not have this in any of the other videos. We keep it in the grain cart, all the vehicles that we have going in the fall except the Ripper. The Ripper we don't care. He can figure his own shit out. Basically, we can use it. We can, hit the button and talk to each other. That way, since it's kind of a logistical nightmare, we got 4 guys running around, and it's just really helpful to be able to be like, hey, I'm going over here, and not just leave and have them wonder what the hell you're trying to do. So for other things to cab, we got the radio up there, we control it down here, up there, whatever your preference is, I guess. This we can actually adjust the mirrors with. There are door opener stuck to the vents. We got, let's see, up here, we got the fridge in there. It's a little dirty because it's been like a season. I should put my cinnamon roll in there, but yeah, I got our fridge. It's like some snacks. That's some storage space, more storage space, shit ton of cup holders, more storage space. Storage space, that's very important when you're in here all day. Here is our hydrostat, so we can pull it back, push it forward to adjust the speed. So basically the further ahead that is, the faster we're going, and same going back, pretty simple. So 1 here, so we're gonna press to raise the header up when we get to the end. And the path ahead, I know. Beep beep. So you press 1 for up, and I'll be right back. I gotta unload. We'll tap 2. So we double tap 2 there to put the header down, and when we double tap it, it engages auto track. Or we can just hit the auto steer button, whatever works. We get up to speed then. We're going around 5.4. No, I'm full. Then we can hit that.
Well, on that rather lackluster note, we officially conclude the How It Works video. The next video is going to be the day in life. That's going to have the fun GoPro footage. That's going to be kind of the more of the fun video. This one is making sure you knew what the hell was going on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I love talking about this shit. I'll gladly answer them. And yeah, thanks for watching.